Thank you, Kendra. And I want to thank every one of you who have registered and are participating in this webinar. The title of today's webinar is An Introduction to Organic Farming and Production in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. We want to thank our presenters today, the University of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands Farmers Alliance. We also want to acknowledge that none of this would be possible without the support of the United States Department of Agriculture, specifically the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, TOPP. TOPP is a program of the USDA Organic Transition Initiative, and it is administered by the USDA Agricultural Marketing Services and the National Organic Program. The Southeast Transition to Organic Partnership Program, SE-TOPP, covers 5 key areas: farmer-to-farmer mentorship, community building, technical assistance and training, data collection, and workforce training and development. If you want to find out more, please visit our website. You can see the information on this slide. We have tons and tons of resources and information that might be interest to all of you. We encourage you to visit our website and to also, at any time, contact our program if you need assistance related to organic farming practices, how to transition, organic certification, and many of the things that we're going to be discussing today. With that, I will turn it over to Nate Olive, who will be talking about some of the information that we have for you today.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for making it here this morning, and we're just appreciative of this whole TOPP initiative to help us organic farmers. My name is Nate Olive. I'm the president of the Virgin Island Farmers Alliance, who I'm representing today as a coordinator for the Transition to Organic program here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm also joined by some of my farm apprentices here at the farm, so we're excited to dig in and see what we're doing. And I just want to also just acknowledge our partners that we can see over the water, but we hardly ever work with. So we're so happy to have University of Puerto Rico here today, so we can work together, because that's what organic farming is all about. So here's my presentation, and I'm focusing a little bit on market development. I'm not going to talk much about production practices here, but I want to, just tell you the situation here in the Virgin Islands and kind of what we've been doing with this transition to organic program as we cultivate a future of healthy agriculture here in the Virgin Islands, which, has a lot of impacts beyond just the act of eating and growing food. So the bottom line about organic farming or farming in general, is that organic agriculture can do 2 major things. It can help build successful farming businesses to profitability through developing niche markets and value-added products. And it can protect and improve the living environment of the Virgin Islands and beyond, including not just the soils, but also the water and our other big piece of the food system picture here, which is the sea and fishing. And we've seen impacts all around the world from synthetic fertilizers that have made it downstream and created hypoxic conditions that have basically made it so that fish and other organisms are not able to survive in these dead zones. Look this up yourself, ocean dead zones worldwide. And this is a brief map of how many dead zones in the distribution across the world. It's pretty amazing. At the same time, organic farming.
Nate, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
It looks like we're unable to see your slides.
Oh.
It sounds like that's a great map for us to see, so I just want to make sure.
This map. Here, let me go back here and do. Thank you for. Okay, we're back. Here we go. Can you see my slides?
Yes, now we can. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we talked about this. This is the map that I was just referring to. And these are dead zones worldwide. This is something here in the Virgin Islands. I'm also on the Virgin Island Food and Farm Council, with the government here implementing our territorial agricultural plan. I'm one of the board members of that, honorary member. And so we also have fishermen. We included fishermen in our whole initiative because they are a big part of our food system here. And food security and food sovereignty are major issues, especially in the Caribbean, in our island environment. So these dead zones are something that, we can help reverse. So organic farming can not only be not harmful, it can be beneficial and help bring back some of our wildlife. Anyway, so as a farmer, I am a farmer. We're here at Little LaGrange Farm, which is part of Ridge to Reef Farm operation. We're certified organic. We're the only certified organic farm here in the Virgin Islands. And as a farmer, we survive on what we grow. So profitability, I believe that to reach organic farmers, you need to know how it's going to make you more money. If it's not making the money, then it'd be tough to sustain. So to keep it sustainable, that's a huge part. If you look at this graphic here, the growth from 2001 to 2021, and it keeps going up, of organic market is huge worldwide. Here in the Virgin Islands, we have somewhat limited organic markets. So you can imagine being the only certified organic farm, there's not a lot of, sort of the chicken and the egg. Do they have enough stuff to stock in the aisles to support us regularly? We're working to change that. And that's one reason why we're so excited about the transition to organic program that we're actively involved in. We already have some farmers who have committed to transitioning to organic. So hopefully we won't be the only kids on the block anymore. I just want to mention that there also was another entity that was organic certified here, and it was a processing facility, a dehydration facility that still exists. So there's a lot of room for growth in our markets. But we have grocery markets, farmers markets, the CSA programs. We have a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, Food Share, Farm Share box, weekly box program. But export markets are a huge potential. Health supplements, a lot of these things demand organics. We can grow a lot of things in the tropics that are in high demand. And also regenerative organic is really fastly becoming a new standard for a lot of health supplement providers. So that's something to look into. There's a lot of markets to talk about. And value-added aspects through agritourism. People love organic farms. It's beautiful. It's great, just like this place. A lot of life. And so you can value add just by people experiencing your farm. And that's something that we're going to be working on a lot soon through a new grant. But this is a picture of a market here in the Virgin Islands. And this is one of our products that we sell. These are some of our mixed greens bags. And they love them because the supermarkets here, they see how quickly stuff goes bad in the perishable state and being delivered. And here we put on our harvest date, and they know that soon, how quickly how long it's been from harvest to their plate, and it lasts much longer. And our customers are really happy with that. So in the United States, there's a big demand for organic food. The demand is going up, and here in the Virgin Islands, like I mentioned, there's only one farm, but we did a survey as a part of the transition to organic program. We found that over 3/4 of the farmers that we have here who answer the survey consider themselves organic farmers, and a little less percentage, but a big percent, have wanted to become certified organic. So, but what are the barriers? Why aren't people doing it? This is, a big part of our research that we've done in our first phases here of the transition to organic program in the Virgin Islands. And there we go. Money, financial costs, certification, huge one. There are programs for that, but we'll talk about that in a second. Lack of knowledge or education. What do you need to do? What are the real rules? It's a little bit more complex than you might think, but it's something that is understandable. So the educational part, we're going to be launching workshops and other things. Shipping cost, being remote here, there are some FSA programs that help with some disadvantaged geographic location costs, but it still remains a big barrier. And lack of local certified organic markets. That was what that next one is, 52%. And you can see back to this slide all the different reasons. So after that, our approach has been to, once we did this study on the actual reasons why people weren't getting certified organic here, we have been focusing on how do we solve these problems? And a lot of it is through this partnership program. So we're here as representatives for these organizations in the Caribbean, but we're a part of a larger region of the Southeast. And this is a federal program. It's all over the country. But we're here, and all across the country, there is this, with the TOPP program, organic farmer mentoring program, where if you're interested in transitioning your farm to organic, you can apply to be paired up with a actual farmer who is certified organic, who understands, hopefully, a lot of what your perspective is, and can help guide you through a transitional process. And that's something that I'm sure we could share some links here so people can apply for that program. We have had a series of meet and greets and gatherings here in St. Croix and on St. John, and we're looking forward to our next meet and greet coming up in either November, December on St. Thomas. So if you want to find out about that, make sure that you use the contact information below to get on our email list. Organic farming workshops, we're using all this information to create what are the things that people want to know. And I'd love to hear that in your questions today. It could be production techniques, it could be what's allowed or not allowed, market ideas, all these things, because it's such a niche, product that really in between the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, there's a lot of room for growth. There's not many organic farms certified currently. So, how can we get there? And what do we need to be sharing with our techniques? We would love to hear more about that because we are finalizing our workshop program. So the more impact we can get, the more input we can get, the better. Also in the Virgin Islands, I mentioned that I am an honorary member as a farmer member of the VI Farm and Food Council. And that's a governmental organization that is put together to implement our territorial agricultural plan. And through our work with TOPP, we found that there was a lot of support in the council for organic production. It just makes sense for people to protect our waters, to protect our soil, to have healthy, clean food free of pesticides to eat and for our children, and to have more fresh available food in our markets, especially in these hurricanes and all these things. We really need to grow our system. And for a small conventional farm to compete against imports from these large mega farms who export things to us, organic can help give us a slight edge in the marketplace. So they were some of those barriers that I mentioned. We're looking forward to getting support for the board has expressed support. We're trying to get the governmental funding to come through to help farmers get an additional $750 to cover certification costs. That's in addition to the federal program that provides up to $750. And just so you know, I'm an organic farmer and I pay about $1,300 to maybe $1,200 to $1,400 or somewhere around there of certification costs. And that's everything from my renewal application to the inspection costs and those things. And so the FSA reimburses up to $750, and we're trying to get an additional $750 for new organic farms that pop up in the Virgin Islands. We also have a tree buffer program or a buffer zone program for farms who are especially in our community gardens. That's a public government-owned farm plots. And so if I want to be organic and I'm there and my neighbor is spraying and it's coming onto my property, we want to help support those farmers creating buffer zones so that they can reduce or eliminate cross-contamination from other farms. And we're also trying to get the Department of Agriculture to carry organic supplies because they sell 10, 10, 10, and they sell pesticides and fertilizers that are synthetic and not allowed in organics. And so we're trying to get them, and they are in support. The commissioner's a big supporter of this. And so hopefully we'll be able to make some of these big changes so that we can tear down those barriers that we found earlier. If you want to find out more and join our programs, or if you want to become a member of the Virgin Island Farmers Alliance, you don't have to be a farmer. You can be a farm supporter. You could be a farm family member or a rising farmer, either a youth or an adult who's looking to get into farming. So you can join our program. You don't have to be organic either, but we are trying to encourage organic growing, but we support all of our farmers in all the ways to provide healthy food for our communities. So there's our contact information below. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to hearing from our partners in Puerto Rico and to answer some of your questions as best as I can later on. Thank you so much. Stop share. Chicken intermission. So we're switching over to, there we go.
Okay. Now? Yes. Yeah, we'll be sharing my presentation with you in a minute. Okay, here we go. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. And let's begin. The title of my presentation is Puerto Rico as part of the Southeast Transition to Organic Partnership Program. I'm going to give an overview of how the organic production is in Puerto Rico at present, and an overview about what we have been doing as partners in SETOPP. Okay, let's begin with the overview of the status of the organic production in Puerto Rico as of 2024, or right now. There are only 3 USDA certified producers in the island. The first farmer in Puerto Rico to get a USDA organic certification was Jose Fabre, under his farm, Bananera Fabre. This is a banana plantation, organic banana plantation. His farm is located in the southwest corner of the island, as shown in that little map, the little red dot that you see there. Mr. Fabre has proven to be a visionary who, having no experience in organic production, went in search of the information he needed to begin his plantation. Mr. Fabre traveled to Costa Rica, to Colombia, and the Dominican Republic in search of any practices and any knowledge that will help him in developing his vision and his company. To this day, he continues to search for new technology that will help him maintain that quality and level of production that has always characterized him, even under conventional production. The second farm that I would like to talk about is Desde Mi Huerto. They are an organic seed producer, mostly vegetables. This farm is located in the northwest section of the island, Isabela. His owner has also been diversifying his farm or his business. In addition to the seed production, he also, when he has more harvest than he planned for, he sells this production, or this part of the harvest, he sells it at the organic market in San Juan. There's very few organic markets in Puerto Rico, but the one in San Juan, in Placita Roosevelt, that is a very well-known one that it had, I guess it's twice a month or once a month. And a lot of people go and visit this market. In addition to diversifying his farm, Raul has been able to get hold of a structure, an old school. This is where he has located his store. There's a store where he sells the seeds and other equipment related to garden or to agriculture. And he also, in this old school, he set up meetings or workshops where he can invite the community to participate. After he has these workshops in the school, he takes them out like in a tour or a workshop in the field where they can practice what they learned in the school. The third farm is Finca Humberto. This one, they really have many different things going on in the farm. They have vegetable production. They have seeds also. They are producing. They have laying hens, and they also have livestock, chicken, rabbits, pigs, and others. Mr. Ruiz and Beth, who is the manager, we visit them at the beginning of this year, I believe. It's really kind of complicated to get the logistic going to visit Vieques. Vieques is a small island on the southeast corner of Puerto Rico. It's not that far away, but the only way to get there is either ferry that will take you an hour or by plane. And it's not always as easy as it sounds to get there. But I look at this farm and they have great potential to develop in something bigger. They have some issues to iron out, like is the getting hold of organic feed for the animals, so they can have organic supplementation or besides what they give them in the farm. But besides that, I think they're on the way to become a good organic farm. In addition to all these privately owned organic certified farms, the University of Puerto Rico has 3 certified farms. 2 belong to the Agriculture Experiment Station, the one in Lajas in the southwest corner of the island, mostly vegetable seed production. The one in Gurabo, it's at the central east part of the island, and it's mostly an informal teaching plot, which we also produce vegetable and roots. The one in Utuado, it also belongs to the University of Puerto Rico, but for the campus that is located in Utuado in the central part of the island. They are exclusively a coffee farm, and they try to promote agroforestry and just producing organic production on the canopy of the trees. Okay, I already talked about the certified farms, but like Nate said, many farmers consider themselves organic producers because they have already used sustainable practices. And since they're not exactly organically certified, they're not certified organic, these farmers identify their production as agroecological or regenerative. With this in mind, I would like to highlight 3 farms in particular that use sustainable practices, and they're on their way to becoming transition and eventually organically certified. 2 of these farms are owned by mentees that are already in our program. And the first one is Finca La Brutal, is the one you're seeing right now on this slide. It's owned by Celeste and Chris, and they got into regenerative agriculture because of health issues. Celeste and Chris produce vegetables. I saw lots of green leaves. They have milking cows. They have chicken for eggs and meat. They also have pigs, and all organically grown. And they are organically grown, but they're not certified yet. As in Finca Humberto, their main issue is finding organic feed, especially for the pigs, since they need specific nutrients. So the livestock needs specific nutrients. They have invested a lot of money in trying to import the appropriate organic feed for their animals. It's a constant battle with the Department of Agriculture. They have, because you need a permit to bring this organic feed to the island. In addition, this farm is the one that we're going to be used as a test subject for the last activity of the year, which will be the mock inspection. The second farm that I want to highlight is Finca Aurora, owned by Felix Roman. Felix Roman is a retired researcher from the Agriculture Experiment Station here in Puerto Rico. His approach on the farm has been to apply all his knowledge as a researcher to his new venture, which he calls his hobby as a farmer. He has used mushroom compost and various cycles of cannabalia as a cover crop in plantain production. He also plants pineapple and many other crops, and always using organic practices. I like to call them organic. They're really sustainable practice, but Felix doesn't use any type of inorganic fertilizer in his production or pesticides. I'm hoping that this farm is ready to begin his transition to organic pretty soon if I convince him to start the process of transitioning. I don't believe he's a good candidate for mentee, but yes, I believe the farm is ready to transition to organic. Okay, the last farm that I'm going to highlight is Finca Gonzalez. It's managed by Lisbeth Gonzalez. She is a mentee in the program. Before becoming a mentee, she had already started transitioning this agroecological practices because this farm belongs to her father. This includes free-range chicken. Again, she said she faces problems also with finding organic feed. Sheep grazing in native pasture lands, and the use of cover crops is also a practice that she started a long time ago while using the conventional plots, but now she uses in the transitional plots, she's also using cover crops. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact of our partnership in Puerto Rico. We began year one in July of 2023, and during that those 6 months from September to October, we had 3 meet and greets where we got to get to know the farmers that were interested in transitioning to organic, have an idea of how they felt, what were they doing. And we also had, in November of that year, we had a field day desde mi huerto, where Raúl Rosado gave us a tour of his farm in Isabela. In December, we had a soil management and cash crop workshop, which there's always farmers always asking for subjects that they would like to us to cover, and soil management and organic fertilization in soils is always one of the #1 subject that they select or they wish for us to cover. For year 2, we had again we covered soil fertilization and drip irrigation workshop. We had one of our state agents, Gustavo Rodriguez, cover a presentation on biological pest emolets in culture, everything that it's allowed under the OMRI list. We also had that day a workshop on organic seedbed preparation using compost from animal manure. And we also had a presentation again, the last one in July was in soil sampling and interpretation of soil analysis. That is one that is very important for farmers because they send the sample, they receive the results, and they look at all these numbers, and maybe there's a range that they give them that they say it's good or excessive or low, but they don't really know how to interpret these numbers. So we gave them a presentation of how to interpret the numbers based on the analysis that the test presents. We also had a workshop in the field and the use of those field test kits to help them evaluate soil fertility. We have learned a lot about organic agriculture in Puerto Rico in this last year and a half. We also recognize that we need more statistics, more numbers of farmers that are not certified but are doing organic practices, number of farmers under agroecological practices, etc. We have collected some data throughout the year. It hasn't been consistent. We hope to gather more information once we get for next year with the organic markets assessment that will start in the month of January. I believe that strengths are in numbers. We need to organize the organic producers community in Puerto Rico and show the Department of Agriculture that the needs of this community are very different to the ones that the conventional producer have, and the requirements for their help, for their monetary help, should adapt to the reality of these farmers. Most of the farmers, as Nate said in his presentation, consider their production either agroecological or regenerative. They don't use the word organic per se. They always use some different word, but they're already using organic practices that will help them to ease the transition process. While there is a market for organic products, many farmers find that the only venue to sell this product is family of community markets. So since they're not that many, so they feel like it's not that easy for them to sell their products. There are many factors that affect the market of organic products, and I hope that Alexandra, today, Dr. Gregory, will share some of them or will discuss some of them with you today. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you to Kendra, JC, and Emily for setting up this webinar. Thanks for FOG and SC TOPP for inviting UPR to be a partner. Thank you to my team, Nicolas, Melody, and Andrew. And thank you for Alexandra for accepting being here today and give her presentation on marketing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning to everybody. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Alexandra Gregory. I'm a professor at the Department of Agricultural Economics. Today I'm gonna talk a few things, but I wanna
Alexandra, we can't hear you.
cannot or can? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So should I start again?
That would be great. I can hear you on my end. Julia, Nicholas, are you able to hear Dr. Gregory or
Yes,
myself?
thank you. It was
Okay,
a mistake.
thanks. Okay, thank you. So thanks for inviting me. My name is Alexandra Gregory. I'm a professor at the Department of Agricultural Economics and Rural Sociology. I want to point out what Nate and Julia just talked about a little bit, which is I had it in my slides, but it's the key here right now, it's about numbers. So why do you want to sell organic? And the thing is that people that do not have any knowledge in agriculture associate organic with healthy food, and healthy practices, no food that is not using pesticides and all that. So the thing here is organic, people associate organic with healthy food. So why marketing? Marketing, it's field in ag economics and even in business administration. But before that, the objectives of these presentations, it's very quickly to gain knowledge a little bit in marketing, some marketing concepts, and develop some strategies to effectively sell organic products. Marketing is not selling. Marketing goes above selling a product. You have to develop strategies and techniques to reach out consumers. So Julia said something about numbers. It's the thing is that in Puerto Rico, the Census of Agriculture, we do have a little bit of numbers for organic farming that in past years, I've been part of the committee that evaluates the census questionnaire. And we add a few questions in at least the last two previous census about organic. This last census in the 2022, we added a question about agroecological or permacultural practices. So in Puerto Rico in 2018, there were 24 certified organic farms, and the value of sales was there's a three, it should be 61,170. It was the value of sale in 2018. In 2022, there were 52 certified organic farms, and they reported $1.68 million value of sales in 2022. In 2022 also, there were 708 agroecological and permacultural farmers that say they use these practices. It's the first time we included in the census that questions, because we knew it's very important to know the numbers so the government can shift and change some subsidies and incentives so to help this growing number of farmers here in Puerto Rico. It's actually one of the growing, I believe it's the growing number in farmers right now. Problems with organic farming here in Puerto Rico, which is the same problem everywhere, is the cost of the USDA organic and marketing costs. And at least here in Puerto Rico, there's no other local certifications of organic products, which I'll show you in a few. There's also, when we talk about organic farmers, we think about small farms, small producers, small operations, but that's not necessarily true. I mean, they might be small, but if you sell your product very well, you can sell obviously a lot. The value of sales might be very high. So sometimes we count small farmers, small operations as the number of acres, but that's not necessarily true. It can be also measured as the value of sales. So it's not necessarily small. And one of the other problem is that organic farm and organic products, it's a niche market as in right now. So as Julia said, there's a few farmers market known in the island, and they do operate in at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, it depends. So we have the one in Roosevelt, there's one in Rincon. But there's also another big market. It's in the metropolitan area at El Condado, which is like in San Juan. And that market includes farmers and organic producers and some people who are added value to their products, agricultural products. So it's still farmers, but they do add value to the product. Some other marketing strategies that's most or some of the organic farmers is that they sell their products to hotels and restaurants, mostly in the metropolitan area. And it's the restaurants that obviously charge have higher prices than normal restaurants. But what's marketing? Marketing, as I said, it's more than selling. Marketing, it's basically develop many strategies to sell your product. It's not just selling it. It's just placing your product, making a brand, looking for that niche market, targeting some specific target market, develop a business and marketing plan, obviously, how to sell, what price to sell, what product should I produce, how much value should I add to my product. All those questions are answered in marketing, and usually those are answered in the marketing plan. But marketing, I don't want to cover too much or uh I extend my time of presenting. So marketing, Kettler and Kohler, which are the one of or two of the best marketing professors. In their book, they state that marketing is the identification of how to provide their wishes to people. It's a wish and wants. There's wishes and wants and needs. A shorter version is to reach profits to supply necessities. So basically is how to reach people, provide the wants and wishes through, of our products. The success of a company, any company, farming, agricultural, agribusiness, or any other type of company, the importance of marketing is crucial to the business. It's like any business who do not do marketing or do not place any strategies in marketing, it's looking for failure. So marketing it's the biggest deal in selling a product, especially in farming. It's very important as any other management, like doing records, accounting records, any type of records, financial management of your business. So it is as important as those aspects of managing or managerial tools. So management and marketing goes play a big role in the success of a business. So marketing, what we look for necessities, wishes, the demand. There's always demand and loyalty. So food is a necessity and sometimes a wish. It depends. Like there are some foods who are a necessity, but there's foods depending on the price, which can be a wish. Most people wish to buy organic. It's right now it's a wish. We have to make it look like it's a necessity also. So the demand for organic, it is there. I don't have to talk a lot about it. There's a demand for organic food. And there's, as Nate said, there's a trend in organic farming and organic sales. So marketing, I just want to point out, marketing has the 4 P's of marketing, which is product, price, promotion, and place, which is the marketing mix. I just want to talk a little bit about product and price, which these two are the key aspects, and so is also the other two, but these two right now, like for a farmer, are the key for their success. It's like what products can I provide my customers? What do people want? The quality of the product. Obviously, if it's organic or you're using organic practices, it's important to them, but you have to show it or tell, everybody what characteristics they want. If you have a brand, how can you differentiate your organic products from regular products? What certifications do I have? What services can I provide to my customers? What guarantees? Packaging is the biggest thing in marketing food right now. Packaging is really important. You have to choose not just a package that will increase your the number of people who are going to buy it, but In food, you also have to use a package that will help you extend the life shelf of that product. And in price, to select the price of your product, you need to know your cost. And so you can determine that price. If you don't know your cost of production, you're not gonna be very successful, because you need to know your cost, and that includes labor of the owner, and labor of, and not just the people who work in the farm, and but all the labor of the owner. And if he has family members working in the farm, you have to include it. Even if you don't pay it, you have to count it in there, because it's part of the labor. So one part of organic farming is to differentiate these products with or from products from other agricultural products. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. So we have to differentiate these products through some certifications. There's organic farming, and it is very costly, and this is why, Nate and the organizations here are trying to provide help to the farmers in the Virgin Islands, so they can be certified at USDA organic. There's also other certifications. The other one, certified naturally grown, you have to pay for that one. So these two, you can be certified. It has a cost, both of them. The last one you can get at a lower cost. I mean, non-GMO. I'm assuming there's a lot of products in the US Virgin Islands who are non-GMO. I mean, what cassava? I know you produce, mostly the same things we produce here in Puerto Rico, like cassava, sweet potatoes. Are they GMOs? Like the varieties you use, are they GMO? I mean, that can be another pitch, another way to differentiate the products. It's not just organic. That's what I meant. Another thing, which this is what I recommend, is to develop a local certification. Other places have done it. Like, there's a lot of states in the US who have done their own certifications, because the USDA organic the cost is so high. So they have developed their own certification. It's like a transitioning certification to the USDA organic. It is still managed by the local or state, or it can be managed by, a NGO also, and it will depend. As long as they guarantee people that they use organic practices and they use agroecological practices, it doesn't have to be organically produced or certified. It can be agroecological, but the thing is that when you use the word organic, you're looking for those people who are looking for healthy food, and that's what it means, organic. So this is one recommendation I have, for the Virgin Islands. Puerto Rico doesn't have it. I mean, I've been writing about it, that we need, or presenting about it, that we need a local certification to help those farmers and ranchers that want to sell their products, as organic or agroecological or other, using all these practices. Marketing recommendations: create a local produced farmers market. This is one recommendation I have to the US Virgin Island. It can be just once a month. I mean, you can just organize, and at the end, I'm gonna talk a little bit. There's grants for it, and the USDA have grants for it. And identify your consumers. So if you identify your consumers, you can bring those consumers to the farmers market. Seek potential consumers. If you don't know your consumers, seek for them. Develop new products. I mean, add value to your products if you have to, and if that's what the consumers want. improve maybe the distribution, maybe think about e-commerce and, make it easy to sell your products. I mean, social media helps a lot. Food safety, it's big important. I mean, if you have the FISMA certification, tell people you have it. Show people you have been certified with it. I mean, that is part of um your product. Create a logo or brand, a trademark, or get together. I mean, it doesn't have to be just your farm. You can create or organize a few farmers and create a logo under those farmers. Another recommendation I have is know your cost. Use promotions is very important. Social media is great for that. And just not promotions in social media. Sometimes give discounts. People like discounts. So it is part of marketing sometimes to offer discounts, especially discounts during the time you have more production than, if you have more production this week, just give a discount so you can sell it a little bit cheaper, but you're gonna be guaranteed to have to sell all your product. Seek for niche markets and contracts. Those are general marketing recommendations. Food safety, as I said, remember consumers are always watching. If you do a farmer's market, I mean, in your cutting or, cleaning, your products, remember to use clean water because people see what you're doing behind your table in the farmer's market. These are some ideas I got. This is a farmer's market in Ottawa, Canada. I was at a conference and happened to walk by a farmer's market, and this is the use of marketing. And I do give a presentation about using like some techniques of colors, lines, and to set up your table. So these are, forms you can market your tomatoes. Who wouldn't want to buy these tomatoes from here, or these, you know, um lettuce, or these vegetables? So it is all about organizing it and preparing. We live in a place which is not cold, so make sure you control the temperature on these vegetables. Don't put all of them. Like this was in Canada, obviously it was cold, so um they can just put it. It was like right we were like in a refrigerator basically, but here in the Caribbean, that's not the same thing. These are other some markets idea of organizing, by colors and boxes. They use baskets here to organize their products. This one's not that nice, but it is what it is. It's a farmer's market. So other recommendations I have for you, especially for new products, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, we have suffered a lot of emergencies during the last I'm going to say almost 8 years. So we have had many hurricanes, droughts, and floodings. So one recommendation is to produce or um non-perishable or canned and dehydrated. I think Puerto Rico and US Virgin Islands should go into canned foods right now for emergency, and extend the shelf life of our products. That doesn't happen with vegetables, but I mean it for roots and plantains and other crops, even meats, it's gonna be great. So my recommendation for you, which I think I will agree with Nate and Julia, is you need to seek funding. As a farmer, individually, as a farmer or rancher, your job is to seek finance, incentives, subsidies, and grants. There's grants for farmers and ranchers, subsidies and incentives, even finance. Get a loan. Don't be afraid to take a loan. I teach this in the accounting classes. you need to participate more in government programs. And for example, in the 2017 census, 126 farmers in the Virgin Islands participated in government programs. That means all programs, state and the state and the federal. So it is very important. And you need to show the number of, is my time up?
Yeah, I am so sorry, Dr.
That's
Gregory.
okay. If you let me finish, I mean, it is very important. This last one line is that you need to make count all organic farming, agroecological. I did in Puerto Rico. You have to talk to the USDA NAS to include those questions in the census for the Virgin Islands. It's not that hard. You just have to justify it. You have just basically to say it's a growing market and you need to know that everybody's counting. So, I mean, that's my thing. And how we can help, I mean, hopefully we can help you with possibly if we can help you, just let us know, talk to Julia. I'm willing to help you, and I bet my colleagues here in the department are also willing to help you. So basically the key to this industry in the organic world is education. You have to educate yourself in everything, every aspect. Sorry, I take more time than.
Thank you, Dr. Gregory. We really appreciate the all your wisdom and the recommendations that you provided to us today. We only have one more minute. We've run a little bit over time. I know there was one particular question that came through the chat. And I believe that question was about the need to recertify annually. And the answer to the question is yes. Organic certification does not expire. Once a farmer is certified, their certificate is valid, but all certification agencies that are accredited by the USDA National Organic Program require that farmers are inspected every year. So that means then that they will be inspected every year, that they do need to pay for those fees every year as well, and that if there's any updates to the organic plan, that they would need to be submitting those to the certifier during the certification sort of process. There is a date into which that needs to happen. I believe, Nate, that for farmers like yourself, you are reminded by your certifier when that time is. And so typically the inspection happens around the same time every year. It should happen every 12 months.
That's right.
But sometimes there are delays, of course.
Yeah, ours is next month.
There you go. So good luck, Nate, with your inspection. I hope that answers that question. I did want to and thank everyone for participating in today's webinar. Wanted to remind you the focus of why we're doing all of this. SCTOPP, the Southeast Transition to Organic Partnership Program, is part of the Organic Transition Initiative. This is a USDA-funded project. It's a 5-year project. The whole reason why we're here in trying to help farmers in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands is for those farmers, and Nate talked a little bit about that, and so did Julia, is that this is a market opportunity for many farmers, and farmers decide to go organic and get certified organic, which is not a requirement of the project. We're trying to provide all of the support, technical assistance, mentorship, and some of the other things that we've discussed today, not because we're telling you, you must get certified organic. If you decide that you don't want to get certified organic certifications not for you, that's fine. We want to be able to promote through the project organic farming practices and what are, from an agronomical perspective and point of view, what advantages there are by growing and using organic farming practices. And I do know and I realize that in Puerto Rico, for example, The terms can be confusing, and we're not trying to confuse people by the terminology, but under the organic regulations, organic has a meaning. And one of the things that distinguishes organic from many other labels is the fact that the process and the things behind the label can guarantee that there's a standard, the people are following those regulations, obviously, because there's processes that allow us to verify that people are following an organic plan, they are being inspected, and the people can trust the label. There's many labels out there. Things like, low fat, for example, low sodium, free range, and things like that. Guess what? Many of those labels are not inspected. And so I'm not, trying to say anything other than be careful when you see some of those labels and saying, oh, this is great. I can trust that there's regulations being followed, because some cases there might not be a specific regulation, and more importantly, a whole program like the National Organic Program. The naturally grown actually label is one of those. But I digress. I don't want to take too much of people's times already. We once again want to thank everyone who registered is participating in today's webinar. We want to thank once again the University of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands of Farmer Alliance for, and Dr. Gregory, of course, for participating in today's webinar and providing all of us with very valuable information. This recording and webinar, or the recording of this webinar, will be available. Please also, I'm reminding everybody that if you have any questions or comments about today's webinars, to please email us. We'll be happy to hear from you and try to, answer any of your questions. Unfortunately, we ran out of time and we're not able to get to all of the questions. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kendra for final words. But once again, thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar.
Thank you. We'll just want to thank everyone again. Nate, Julia, Nicholas, Dr. Gregory, thank you all so much. I did just want to give one moment in case anyone had a final thought. Nate, it looked like maybe you wanted to just say something just before we close out, if there was anything that you wanted to add before we wrap up.
Really just if anybody's interested in joining our efforts in the Virgin Islands, please reach out to the Virgin Island Farmers Alliance, and we'll get you on the lists for our workshops and all the things we have coming up. This hasn't been mentioned yet, but this is a 5-year program. We're a year and a half into it, so we're just in the beginning stages, and we hope that you can get plugged in.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again. We appreciate you all. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, setop@foginfo.org. We'll be sending a follow-up email and recording to everyone who attended today. And this recording will be posted on FOG's YouTube channel. You can visit our website. And with that, we hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you again for your interest, and have a great day. Thank you so much.